Pulpit, back streets, 2100. I mean, that's all I knew.
The truth. I moved work and I went to church. So let's just keep it real, really 100.
Times though, I almost got arrested. I almost got shot. I almost got robbed, but none of that ever happened. And I always attributed that to God because I felt like He saved me, but I didn't think He was preserving me to preach. So I was just still living that lifestyle, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You have done what you've done. Real men who have been through that street life of the women, the cars, the money, that lifestyle, and understand that God has pulled us out of that, and you can also come out of that also.
That's all I thought I could do. You know what I mean? Nobody ever told me good job till, you know what I mean, I was in that car and aimed that thing and hit my target.
Really 100. I sold dope. Tell you the truth, I sold dope, and I knew I was called. So what I did was, you know, I don't even know where I'm going here.
Serving, you know what I mean? I don't want no title in the church. I don't want my name called. I don't really want to be seen with what I do. You know what I mean? But he said that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. You know what I mean? And I said, Lord, I don't even like speaking in front of people. I don't like to be seen. You know what I mean? But He said, that's it. You know what I mean? So, and I treat it like a assignment back in the day, a kick though. Whenever He give me a message or whatever, I had no fear then, so I had no fear now.
The word to actually doing the word or becoming what it said in there. And that took some time. I remember one of the brothers that was mentoring me, I used to go to him with questions. And I tell people all the time, I'll know if you're reading the Bible because you're going to have one or two things. Either you're going to come with questions or you're going to come with answers to questions that you had before. And so I used to always go to this brother and I would ask him questions. And at one point, I was like, what does this mean? And once he told me what it meant, I disagreed with it. That rebellious spirit was in me and I disagreed with it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, if you agree that this is what it means, but you decide not to do it, your learning will stop at that point. You can only learn as far as you're willing to grow.
Then I got, you know what I mean, good job, good, you know what I mean, what I thought was love. But, you know what I mean, and when it came time, I was by myself in that cell, or, you know what I mean, where I was supposed to have help or the love was supposed to kick in, I was by myself. And when I came to God, found Jesus, I found out that all them times He was right there. Everybody else was gone, you know what I mean, said they'll ride to you to the end, whether you locked up or whatever, they was gone, but He was right there. So
what I did was, I was hustling, and I know I was called to the pulpit, so what I used to do is to try to get out of it is I get on the drums. The Lord taught me how to play the drums, so that was my way of saying, you know what, Lord, I'll do what you want me to do. I'm on the pulpit, but I'm playing the drums. I'm directing the choir, but then on a week, I get back in the streets and move work in a whole nother state. In my mind, they can't see it, so they don't know.
I was selling everything. I sold everything, sherm, I sold rocks, I sold coke, I sold everything, weed and everything, I sold everything. And I still couldn't really get all the way away from church because of the older people and because of the relationship that I had with God. So I was, kind of doing both things.
My transition was very smooth. The Lord helped me with this transition, because in order for it to be a smooth transition, your relationship with the Lord has to be communicated, and everything that I do, I now depend on Him. Right. You're looking at a man who depends on God, and so my transition from prison has been smooth, not perfect, but smooth.
Judge, get ready for it. If they gonna do it, It is what it is. They gonna judge you. They gonna pass judgment. They gonna talk about you. They even gonna ridicule you. They gonna talk about you. They gonna run your name through the dirt. They gonna slander your name. They gonna do all of those things. But here's the concept. That's what they did to Jesus. But see, we coming from the streets didn't understand that and know that. Where we come from, you slander my name, you talk about me, you say something, I come and put these hands on you. Or I send somebody to get you. But in the church, people want to hide behind that. But I'm just going to tell you the truth. Coming from the streets to coming into the house of the Lord, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You really need a pastor who understands the struggle of street life, or what we call the concrete jungle, to this Christian life.
Always looking out for me even when I wasn't aware. And there was a period in my life where I was searching for God everywhere I could possibly find him. I'm going to Muslim temples, I'm going to Jewish temples, I'm going to Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm searching for God. And God finally put the right person with the right word in my life that could teach me the things that I needed to know so that I could become the man that he wanted me to be.
Both things. I was doing both things, and then when I was 21, then I heard God tell me that I was going to be a preacher. And so I didn't really want to be a preacher, so I said, okay, I'm going to be real quiet, Lord. If you tell me to be a preacher again, then I will be a preacher. So I sat real quiet. He didn't tell me to be a preacher, so I just kept doing what I was doing. So many times, though, I almost got arrested, I almost got shot, I almost got robbed, but none of that ever happened, and I always attributed that to God. Because I felt like he saved me, but I didn't think he was preserving me to preach. So I was just still living that lifestyle, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then finally, and even after I stopped living that life, I was still drinking and stuff. But then finally, when I was in my 30s, a couple of years ago, then God told me again that he wanted me to preach. And then when I heard it the second time, it reminded me of the first time, and I just knew that that's what God was saying to do. I just started crying, and I was like, no, I started thinking of every scripture in the Bible, women be silent in the church, and everything I tried to, tell God why I couldn't preach, and then I just didn't feel worthy of preaching, because even though I wasn't selling drugs anymore, I still had that mindset, and it's really hard to be in the church or to accept the calling of a minister when you still have a street mind.
Understand who I am. Grandma used to tell me at a young age who I was. Didn't want to hear it, didn't want to believe it. But God began to show me who I was out there in the streets. And I'm here today.
How did you recognize what your call was?
Recognize. I think I've always recognized it. I just didn't want to believe it. I've always recognized it. I've always seen it. Just didn't want to believe it, Being in certain places, moving work in certain states. In your mind or in our mind, we think that we say, oh man, you feel it, and you be like, you think it's just your hood wisdom, or you think it's just your insight, but it was actually God still directing, still orchestrating what was going on. So
that we have fellowship, and in listening, we receive constant revelation, and the revelatory experience that comes from God, bringing me growth and the sense of God, is guaranteed. You cannot meet God and walk away from God the same way you met him before.
So you make moves and do certain things, and he just kept on covering me all the time. I'm one of those dudes who come from the block, who move a lot of work. I never drunk. I never smoked. Where I come from, the way my uncles raised me, for one, you can't smoke the work. You smoke the work, you smoking money. You can't drink, because if you drink, you ain't focused. So that's the way I grew up. Even though I grew up in a hood environment, wherever all of that was going on, I really wasn't allowed to. Can't really go into detail of what I really got into with my uncles. But those of you who know me, you know.
The message that I have for the youth today is very simple. It's allow God to use you. Allow God to put you in the place where he wants you to be. A lot of times we think as youth and millennials, we need to move here, we need to go here and make this connection. We're constantly moving, and sometimes we have to just slow down a little bit so that we can wait on God and see where He wants us to go, who He wants us to connect with. Because every door that opens is not an opportunity. Sometimes we get faced with distractions. We already have the door open in front of us. God says, stay on this path, and then another door opens up, and we say, oh, well, maybe I'm supposed to walk that way. So the message that I really want to share with you guys is stay focused on God. Allow Him to use you instead of you using Him.
Tell the truth, majority of this is money. It's how much money you making versus how much money you not making. And if that's the most difficult transition for people who come from the type of lifestyle that some of us come from. Now, some of us come from women and lying, backbiting, thugging, gangstering, gangbanging. Some of us come from, making checks and, all kind of different things. But coming from the streets of hustling and that temptation of making money was the hardest piece. And in order to transition over, you need a man and woman of God, a people of God that truly understands that it's not easy, and to help us with those and really help us jump over those particular hurdles, or jump over those particular ambushes that the enemy put in place of when the people talk about you and how to deal with that, because they gonna do it.
Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Yeah, he's my best. Yeah, he's my best friend. Jesus is my best